So hello, this is another tutorial. I'm gonna do an animation and pretty much teach you guys how to do the to render an animation, how to send a render in animation. Okay, I'm gonna create a scene very simple and fast. I'm not gonna get into details, so because actually there's another tutorial that talks about that. So I'm gonna create a plane R, and I'm gonna span this so we can have a floor here, and I'm gonna create a box. Scale it up. Take it up here, and simple. I'm gonna rotate it and you will see why afterwards. Okay, nice. Now I'm gonna actually give gravity and collision properties to this object and the other one. So I'm gonna select the first object. I'm gonna go to dynamics, and in soft rigid bodies I'm gonna say active rigid body to that guy. I'm also gonna go to dynamics here and assign to this same object gravity. Okay, good. This little guy appears. Now we're going to select the floor, and I'm going to go to sub-rigid body, but instead of active, I'm going to say passive rigid body. Perfect. Now, eventually, if we play that, that should come down, collide with the floor in a gravity matter. Now, we know we don't want 24 frames. That's a second, so it's going to go super fast, as you can see. We actually have to change the time to, I don't know, I'm going to put 500. You probably know better what you want to do, and make sure that also if you right click here you say playback speak to real time. Okay, so now if we actually, I'm going to press 5 to see the shade. I'm going to go display and get rid of the grid and see what happens if I play this. There you go, nice bouncing. Now good, we have an animation there. Now a couple things I want to animate. I'm going to create a in rendering a light. There we go. I'm going to press W, take it up here, R to scale it and see it better, and I'm going to just basically move it so it's actually in an interesting position to illuminate the scene. I'm going to press 7 to see the light, and if you press high resolution you should be able to see this very nice. Basically I want to change a little bit the cone. Everything is animated. You could animate everything, and we'll see a little example of that. And I'm going to just set the properties of the light, shadows, by pressing the shadows here, and a little bit of the resolution, not too much, and just to 5 or 4, and 30 here. Good. Now another thing we want to do is a little bit of penumbra, which is always nice to have, and a little drop off. Good. Okay, how do we animate light? It's just simple. I mean, and I've talked about it before. We can always select the objects, press S, so we mark an animation line here, and we're gonna play that and see where is the good moment to place the and where to place the light in within the animation. So I'm gonna stop it there and move the light precisely to a specific point that I want. I think that's good. Probably here we can change a little bit this, and now press S, and you can also like say set key here and go back, change this a little bit, and right click set key because you want to animate only this specific thing. So if I press play now, it should be able to animating not only the position of the light, but also, as you can see, the cone angle is changing. No, okay, we could have changed, probably it's better. As you can see, the red marks are here, so you can move from red mark to red mark like that very easily. I'm gonna also rotate it a bit here, so there's a little bit more dynamism within the light. And press S again, so it should now in the animation not only change the cone angle, the position, but also the rotation, which is good. Last thing I'm going to do is pretty much go to panels, perspective, new, and we are actually set. If I span the outliner, we have set another camera, which is the perspective 1. We can pretty much press here and allocate ourselves in a specific position, and press S, so we will be animating now the camera itself, and I'm gonna press play to see where is the good moment there. I'm gonna position myself in a different angle so we can see that specific moment. Here. There we go. I'm gonna press S so that kind of is set and animated. I think, oh yeah, I know what the problem is, sorry. I have to actually delete these keyframes. I was animating that perspective, not perspective 1, so I'm gonna actually select by shift and drag, and then you can say delete. And what I have to be is, I forgot to mark here, I have to set it that I'm in perspective 1. Now I'm in perspective 1 and I can animate it accordingly. So I'm going to press S. I'm going to play it at the moment that it touches. Right there, I'm going to kind of rotate to see that specific moment. Good. I'm going to press S now, go back. You see how the camera is animated. And now, in this point, I want to actually also go up and move myself to a specific area that I may like here, why not? I'm gonna go press S, so now let's see how the animation goes. Boom. And now the camera goes up there, and you see the perspective. Good. Okay, but this is quite the playful thing. Let's get to the serious stuff. Now we have to render this. So we're gonna go here to render settings, set it to mentor array. If you are gonna work in mentor array, which I believe you're all working, also gonna set the quality to production if you want. I shouldn't do it because it's gonna take longer, but anyway, I'm gonna pause it anyway while it's rendering the time frames. Basically what we're gonna do, let's see if it goes. Always take a set. Well, there we go. Let's say production, and I'll leave that there, and I'm gonna go to common. Here's where we have to set the animation rendering to what I'm going to say now. So we have to go to image format, and you can set it to TIFF. You should set it to TIFF, although you can set it as a video already. But I highly recommend to work with images as a way to export an animation. So that's the first thing to change. The second one is set it, for example, to name number dot extension for multi-frames, and name and frame padding, we're going to set it to 2. That's the number of zeros in front of each number, which will make sure that they organized all the images correctly. Good. And we're going to set the end frame to around 200, say, because I know that pretty much the animation stops there, so we don't need to have more. And here is a very important renderable cameras. We don't want to render perspective. We have created a camera and perspective 1 in order to render it correctly, so that's good. Great. Perfect. The resolution is set to low quality. I want to leave it there. You guys should actually change it here accordingly. Be careful with the time that it needs to render an image. So multiply that by the number of frames, and that will give you, the time that you have to spend rendering the thing. Now, where's this going to save the images? It's going to save image by image, one by one frame. It's going to save it in this path that it says here. Good. Now we can change that path. It's normally quite crazy by going to File, Set Project. I'm going to go to my desktop and create a folder called Animation, and get inside of that folder and say Set. So say Create Default Workspace, and that's great. I mean, we're quite done. I'm going to make sure that the lights are set, I have shadows, and etc. I think it's good. So now the last step is very simple. We have to go to rendering here and say set render, and we have to say batch render. Okay, so it may jump some kind of this is a student version, so it may jump something like this, or it may jump, there's a blocking, so it's just allowed the Windows to do this action, you have to say, and say continue here, and you're gonna see it's gonna take a while. I'm gonna pause it afterwards, but you can see here how render with mentor array starts 3 points. It's kind of thinking, and right away, depending on the quality of your animation, it's going to start like us doing here a percentage of rendering done 15 0 to 100 each of the images. No, and it says here title 1. Could say a name by the way, but it's fine because we're gonna import it into After Effects afterwards. So now what's going on here is very simple. I'm going to my desktop and I'm gonna go to animation and creates these folders for you automatically. If you go to images, you see how it has created one image. Now it's doing the second one, and then it will do the third one, and that way until it gets to 200 images. No. Now, great, because afterwards we're going to take all these images into After Effects, and very simple way, we're going to create an animation out of that. Now, just to make sure that everything's working, you can always check the first image by double-clicking and see the teeth. So yeah, it's quite nice. I mean, there's no materials, and of course, could have been more interesting, but you know, straightforward message of how do we render an animation. I'm gonna pause it there, and we'll see the result of this. Okay. So great. I'm gonna pretty much leave it there. I'm not gonna do the 200 frames, but you get the idea. It's saving all the different images one by one, and keeps on going until it gets to the final render. And you can do a couple things. You may are stuck with a render. You can check one and see that it's not the one you want, and you say, "Gee, I want to go and start all over again." So in that case, you always can go to Maya and press render and cancel advanced render, so you will be able to cancel it. That's what I'm going to do now because I don't want to do all of them. And I said you wish to cancel. Say yes, I want to cancel, and I'm going to go back again and see. I think there's an image that is open. Let me see here. Double click. I'm going to see how the image is, and you can always, this is a TIFF file. The good thing about it is the type of animation file is very convenient. You can always say file open animation, and you can go to your images, and there's only 43, and you will only see like a little bit, but you see it goes very slow in the beginning, but after it reads all the images, and also because my computer is very slow, you guys shouldn't have that much of a problem. It goes to probably 41, and then it will go much faster now. Let's see, 31. It wasn't probably the smartest move to put the light where it was, etc., etc. That's another thing that you guys should check. Okay, so it's a good way to check it out, and then we'll see in another tutorial. The next one is how do we put this into After Effects and actually animate in a decent way with After Effects. Okay, so I'll leave it there.